What's good, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by DistroKid. They are the go-to for digital music distribution and the easiest way for musicians to get their music onto Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, TikTok, YouTube, and more. They offer unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of their earnings, getting your music onto platforms and into stores 10 to 20 times faster than any other distributor. They help with cover song clearance, automatic splits, and they offer all kinds of tools and templates to help you get the most visibility for your releases. I dig this company and appreciate their business model that offers more features and tools than any other distributor while doing it at the most affordable price for solo artists, bands, DJs, studio artists, and any other creators that are making music or producing music in their home, and they offer label services as well. They've got 3 different tiers that they offer to creators that start as low as $22.99 a year. That's just $1.92 a month. And even their top tier is only $7.50 per month. And the best part about DistroKid sponsoring the podcast is they are offering Dan Cable Presents listeners 30% off their first year of service with DistroKid, making their affordable prices even cheaper for you. I will put that discount link in the episode notes. It will also be in my Instagram bio. Big shout out to DistroKid for sponsoring this podcast for more than 3 years now. Much appreciated. Now let's get into the episode.
Looking down at the corner
What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dan Cable Presents podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the program once again. If this is your first time listening, thanks for checking out the show. You can find fresh episodes coming at you on Tuesdays. And if you want to help support this thing in a free way, you can do so by clicking subscribe on iTunes, clicking write a review, giving the podcast 5 stars if you feel like it is deserving of so. And that will help propel this thing into the tops of those iTunes charts, giving it more visibility on the national and international levels, helping strangers find the podcast, and just a great way to contribute to the growth and sustainability of this thing. Appreciate the hell out of all the folks that have already taken the time to do so. If you're not listening on Apple, just hit like, follow, subscribe wherever you are listening from. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe there. Got some new video content on the way outside of the podcast, which I'm excited to release, and tell a friend about the podcast. That's always a very helpful thing to do. Hope everybody is doing all right out there. This week on the podcast, so hyped. Scott Rivera, owner of Scottie's Pizza Parlor here in Portland, Oregon, is on the show. I'm just stoked to have had Scott on the cast. I'm such a big fan of Scottie's Pizza. I ride for it hard. I think it's extremely difficult to find a better slice in the city. There's a lot of other places that I absolutely love for pizza in this city, and we undoubtedly have one of the best pizza games in the world, if not, I just think that we're on another level here. Okay, there's just a ridiculous amount of great options, and I'm going to have some other folks in the near future on to talk about some of those options. But Scottie's is so top notch, and it was just an absolute pleasure to get to sit down with Scott and talk to him about his background and his love for pizza, his obsession for pizza, and the evolution of Scottie's Pizza over the last decade here in Portland. If you're new to Scottie's, I encourage you to go check them out. There's a location on Southeast Division over off of 20th. That's the OG spot. And there's also a newer location over off Northwest 21st, right across from Cinema 21. Great place to hit before or after hitting a movie at one of the cooler independent theaters in town as well, Cinema 21. And they've got more of a dine-in vibe situation going on over at that Northwest location, but also a great place to grab slices or whole pies on the go. Shout out to Scott for taking the time to jump on the mics with me. He also was kind enough to bring me one of these Scotty's Pizza hats. They've got some great merch over there. So thank you, Scott, for this hat that I am currently wearing. And big thanks to Hope and Alex over at the Southeast location. Maybe they work at both locations, but I went over there the day that I recorded this episode with Scott just to make sure that Scotty's Pizza was fresh on my mind, and they were sweet enough to hook me up that day, which was much appreciated. It was not necessary, but I very much appreciate it. And just shout out to the whole Scotty's Pizza Parlor team for consistently just being friendly and good people, and also just making some of the most lights out pizza consistently, doing it on another level. Yeah, that's it. That's all the things. All the links to keep up with Scotty's will be in the episode notes, and also February 9th. That is National Pizza Day. So that's a great day to go and support a place like Scotty's, or maybe one of your other favorite pizza places in the city or wherever you are residing. And with all that, we are going to get into this thing. Episode 463 with Scott Rivera of Scotty's Pizza Parlor right here, Portland, Oregon. Now let's do the damn thing. Yeah, man, I am very hyped to have you here, Scott. I'm such a fan of Scotty's Pizza. Like I think it's like undeniable. Like when you're talking pizza with someone in this town, like, you know, Scotty's Pizza always comes up in the conversation.
Damn.
And if someone's like, I haven't had that, it's just like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, man. Like you're behind.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I'm very hyped to have you here. So thank you for being down to chat it up about pizza and how you got into this racket.
Sure. Yeah. No. Thanks for reaching out. And you know, I think it's cool. It's cool what you do, which is this sort of like music and food and other fun things crossover. You know?
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very fun way to like get to know the community around me, and like the people that I don't know, genuinely like find inspiring, or like just get to know like the people behind things that I like really love and ride for, you know?
That's awesome.
So
yeah, appreciate that. And I feel like it's that sort of crossover too is like a good reflection of Portland in a way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me about what you were doing before you started Scotty's Pizza Parlor.
Well, before starting Scotty's, shortly before that, I had kind of burnt out working my way down the sort of like chef track of the food industry. And I think I learned that I'm not a chef, and I still don't really think of myself as a chef. And was having a little bit of a crisis, and ended up getting some work making pizza, because that was just like where all my fun and passion was coming from outside of work at the time. And I was like, oh, why don't, you know, it was my wife, bless her, who suggested that I just go get a job at a pizza place and chill out and like reassess my life.
And that was that happening here in Portland?
Was here.
Is you from New York?
I'm from New York. Lived in New Mexico for the majority of my like kind of growing up time, from 7 to 20 something. But still got back to New York a bunch, which I think really cemented my like pizza instinct.
Yeah.
And yeah, by the time I moved out here, was like head down working the line, just trying to get, you know, that better experience where I'd learn more and like work my way up, and seeing that sort of hierarchy in the kitchens, like, okay, well, you work this station and then you work that station, and maybe you can be a sous chef or whatever. And it was overwhelming, and I didn't feel like I kind of like got ahead of myself, I think, or maybe just got underwater. But yeah, got to a point where I was working at like a really nice place and just didn't have the skills to keep up. And it kind of broke me down, and I still learned a ton, but it was like, oh no, like I think I just have a lot further to go in this path if I really want to go there.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like I just had this real sort of like connection with my soul, and also just that physical, like working with my hands in dough with like pizza making, that just felt so natural and satisfying.
Yeah.
That, as soon as I started working at a pizza place, it clicked. It was like, oh, this is the thing. Yeah.
But for a while you had aspirations to like be a chef. What sparked your interest in cooking or like getting into kitchens?
Yeah, I grew up like both my parents would cook a lot, and even when I was really small, they got in the habit of like wearing a backpack with me in it, so that I could kind of like look over their shoulder at whatever's they're stirring in the pot. And my grandma, this is when I was like 5, we'd visit my grandma in Canada, actually, just north of New York State, and she had an old wood burning stove, and I had so much fun just being around that, and then occasionally getting to like cook like bacon in a skillet on the wood stove and stuff. And so I think I just always got like a kick out of cooking, and just loved food and loved the process of cooking. And so I thought that could be a good thing to explore.
Yeah.
Before I actually considered it as a, deliberate career path, I worked for Apple. I worked in the Apple retail stores for like 4 years.
Okay.
Behind the Genius Bar.
Yeah.
Fixing your, laptop after you dropped it in the swimming pool and stuff like that. Or rather, telling you that I couldn't fix your laptop after you drop it in the swimming pool. But that was like a great experience. And I feel like rather what I sort of learned leading up to like opening a pizzeria, and just have with more clarity now in mind, is that I'm not a chef. I can cook, but I'm more of like a craftsman, I think. Like I'm a builder.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like the difference in mentality is there?
Yeah, I think there's I think so. There's a lot of I'm going to air quotes engineering that happens, and sort of like planning and just thinking things out in terms of like what is your end result that you want. But there's also a ton of problem solving, and I think that's what really keeps me engaged with pizza making, because it's so hard to do well, and you're always going to have the unpredictable element, which is the yeast and the fermentation process. And, you can science that as much as you think you possibly can, but there's always going to be something out of your control. And even if you make, what feels like the best pizza you've ever made, for one, there's always something that could probably be a little bit better about it, that, there's always that challenge that you can keep kind of working towards. And then I think the real challenge when you get into it as a business is to make that great pizza consistently.
Yes.
Over and over and over.
Yes.
And that's a whole different, problem solving set. And so, I think the problem solving, and along with that, all of the just like hands-on work keeps me really engaged.
Yeah. I have gotten to work some pizza jobs. I've spent a fair amount of time in pizzerias, and like my first Portland job was working at Pizzicato.
Yeah.
And yeah, I always like really appreciated how hands-on the experience is of making pizza opposed to other food. Like obviously like doing prep and stuff like that with other food, you are like, you know, actually putting your hands on it, but
do
like
the choppy chop,
yeah,
and
but to like actually, you know, toss some dough and stretch it out, and then like put the toppings on the pizza, and like the only time you're not like hands on with it is like once it hits the oven.
It's a really unique and specific process. Right? Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So did you get like pretty obsessive about kind of the science of making dough, or do you feel like you're still in that spot of being pretty obsessive with it?
Yes and yes. Yeah, I feel like I got bitten by the bug pretty early on. I started to learn how to make pizza when I turned 18, and I was living in New Mexico, where I had moved with my mom after my mom and dad split up. So my dad was still in New York, and that's why I would go back and forth and, you know, spend summers or holidays or whatever with my dad. But those were like the most, and still are, some of the most special memories I have of just going out and getting a slice with my dad on whatever corner we were at, you know, or like, this is a little bit of a tangent, but like Christmas Eve, my dad was a salsa musician. And I remember he had a gig somewhere out late, and I would always go with him, and it'd be super late. And we were in like Midtown Manhattan, and it was like 11 or 12 at night on Christmas Eve. And of course, little me, probably like 11 or 12 years old, is like, Dad, I want a slice of pizza. And he's like, oh my God, I don't know where we're going to get pizza right now. And we're driving around, because you can just kind of drive a little further and like find a pizza spot in New York, you know? And everything's dark, but wherever we were on a side street looking down towards like an avenue or something. And at the end of this dark street, there was this bright like beacon storefront, and we went towards it, and there was a big neon sign. It was open, and it said, "World's Best Pizza." And we were like, I don't know, like, you know, it's not, right? You know that it's not.
Yeah. It's
so
on the sign.
Yeah. So yeah, I just remember, like, you know, that's one of like many stories. We go in, we like get a slice, we split it, you know, just to be safe, rather than like getting a whole slice. It's like, you know, just do half each.
Yeah.
And we both took a bite and looked at each other, and my dad was like, like, do you want a whole slice? And I was just like, I'm good. So, you know, that was a sort of like a bad pizza memory, but also like a really sweet memory. And
even the Mecca of pizza has bad pizza.
So much bad pizza in New York. Yeah, it's like, it's just a numbers game at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But, you know, since that just like held such a strong spot in my heart, by the time I turned 18 and my parents weren't paying to fly me back and forth, I was kind of on my own.
Yeah.
In terms of like, when am I going to go to New York again? And along with all these other thoughts swirling around in my head that go along with, when am I going to get to New York again? It's like, when am I going to see my dad again? And, you know, just visit more family I had back east. But it was like, when am I going to get a good slice again?
Yeah.
Because that's also very important.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why I basically set out to try to make it myself. And it's like, how hard could it be to make a decent slice of pizza? And it turns out really hard. It's really hard. Yeah. The first pie I made was terrible. I think that's everybody's experience. And from there, I think it just made me like double down and just try even harder to get to like that nostalgic, you know, flavor and texture that I was craving.
Yeah. Were you just kind of doing that at your house, wherever
Definitely.
you were living, just R&D in the kitchen?
Yeah. My wife and I, but this was before we were married, but we lived in a double wide trailer in a gated mobile home park near the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. And it was like her her slight explanation. It was her parents' sort of wise idea, I think, and her aunt and uncle, they got together and invested in like buying a trailer for Amy, my wife, and her older brother and their like younger cousins to all over sort of like these 4-year, generation steps, all have a place to live while they were in college, presumably at UNM. So I met Amy while she was living in the trailer, and it was a glorious time. But yeah, we had a pretty good kitchen in there. It was double wide. It was like, spacious, 3-bedroom. I had my kind of like music studio in one of the rooms too. But just regular oven, sheet, cookie sheet.
Yeah. Crazy.
Dough.
Those would be like before you could just buy like a stone at Target.
Right. No, yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it was really, really bad. I think I have some old pictures of at least one pizza from those days.
That's amazing.
Like awful to look at. Man.
Where we started.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. How it started and how it's going, right? Yeah.
But that was just like, was that all just, kind of stuff you were doing for fun, like as a hobby, like no real aspirations of like, I'm going to open up a pizza spot one day?
No, I never thought pizza was like a serious or like real job or career. You know, I thought, oh, that's like fast food. That's not anything that's going to get you like, health insurance or a retirement plan or able to save up to like own a house one day or whatever, move out of the trailer
or be able to create a business that sustains others
to feed
themselves.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. So that was like early days. And my kind of main job was working with Apple, and it was fun and nerdy. Just until it kind of wasn't anymore. And I'd still been doing a lot of cooking, a lot of baking, and just made that conscious choice to like leave that really stable, well-paying job and go work at like a cafe where I was able to like also bake the muffins and cookies and stuff in the morning. And that was like my first kind of very intentional, I am setting out on a, charting a course and gaining experience. That was that first job.
Was that still back in New Mexico?
By that point, we had moved to Connecticut, where my wife Amy was going to grad school. She's the smart one of of us, and she got into the Yale School of Forestry and Environmental Management, and went and did a whole program out there. But it was cool because we moved to New Haven, Connecticut, which is like the other kind of pizza capital of the eastern U.S.
Different style.
Bit of a different style, and still so much history, pizzerias that have been operating for over 100 years, which is just wild to me and totally inspiring. It was cool to be around that. And, pizza was still just a hobby, and I kind of just kept working at it. And it just stayed that way for a long time until, I realized like, oh, not a chef, not going to be a chef, not happening. Got to reevaluate here.
But you seem to have this passion for making pizza.
That's it. Yeah.
It's like, I think that's a good sign if you're like doing that at home on your own.
Yeah.
That you obviously like, have some strong feelings.
I was like I was in the blogs, in the message boards about like pizza dough recipes, and like building my own spreadsheet with the baker's percentages, and I was really deep into it just as a hobby. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you opened Scottie's in 2015, the division location.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Where, like, what were you doing around the city prior to that? You were just like working at different
I had been
pizza
working
spots in town?
Yeah, my first grown up pizza gig was at Handsome Pizza. Which was at Killingsworth and Greeley in this like former like auto shop type space.
All right.
And it just had like a big roll up garage door, and like what probably was like an office was now a kitchen. And there was a wood fired oven there. And this guy who's now my good friend, his name's Will, he was running this place, making wood-fired pizza, and I had read about him on one of the pizza blogs, so I kind of targeted him. I didn't know if he was hiring, but I just went and just said, "Hey, I'm Scott. I like pizza. What's up?"
Yeah.
And he just kind of like showed me around. That very first time, he sat and like ate a pizza with me, and we just chatted and like just kind of nerded out. And eventually, I think a few weeks later, he invited me out on a pizza crawl with a bunch of friends to like go to a bunch of pizza places around town.
Yeah, I love that. It's very, I feel like that's a really easy thing to do here. We have such a strong pizza scene. It's very impressive, you know, like there is more than a handful of places that I would like put on that list.
Definitely. And you can do more than a handful even just in like one part of town now, which is cool. Did you know there's a pizza tour company?
No.
In operation in
Someone
Portland?
had to capitalize on that.
Yeah. I think it's called Portland Pizza Tours. Forgive me if I say that wrong. Maybe we can link it later. Yeah, they do like walking tours, you know, and it's like, you can walk to like 5 solid places and have a whole time about it.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So did this great pizza crawl with Will, and I think it was literally that night where he kind of just leaned over and was like, "Oh, by the way, like somebody who, you know, works for me is like going out of town next week. Do you want to come and fill in, you know, just on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Just this one time, but you want to help out?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely. 100%. I'm there." And yeah, from there it just kind of built up. So I was working with Will, and then also got a job at East Gleason Pizza when they first opened. So that was like 2014.
Okay.
I think they opened in like January 2014. And just another great experience. That would have been like my second sort of like restaurant opening that I was a part of, you know, part of the team, and in terms of like just getting things set up and all that problem solving that happens from day one of like, whoa, like this thing shouldn't go over here, it should go over here, and like this is all wrong. We gotta, you know, refigure this. So another great experience there. Slightly different style of pizza. They had deck ovens, but it was still like a hand tossed thin crust, you know. Still my jam for sure. But yeah, just kind of building experience still in that mindset, I guess. And also just enjoying it. And I think with Will especially, he was just really sort of encouraging from day one. Like, got in there working with him, and he was like, "So what's your pizza place going to be like?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, yeah, like if you had your own place, like what kind of pizza would you make? What would it be like? And I was like, "Oh, wow. Like that's a really good exercise."
Yeah.
And I think getting that encouragement, and then lots of support from my dad. He was like, since he was like running his own Latin music like band and recording albums and stuff, I think he had a similar sort of entrepreneurial mindset in terms of like just hustling and making it happen for yourself. So he was like, "Yeah, you just, you know, we got to figure out the steps of like, what do? You're going to start a business. So you got to write a business plan and, you know, do the research and stuff."
I would imagine that those people, maybe recognized something in you as well, though. Like, I don't think that everyone just encourages everyone to like maybe do something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
So I would assume that, like,
I mean, I think I was excited for sure. I remember having a ton of energy and just being so loud and just like all gas pizza. Like, this is it. This is me. Yeah, I think it there was a lot of freedom in that move to just like go get a job doing the thing that I loved doing. So it was like I suddenly was really happy and having so much fun and learning so much and like meeting other people who were really into pizza. And yeah, it's kind of like a big awakening and sort of like living my best life time for sure.
So was there like, what was the point where you decided that you were ready to give it a shot and put Scotty's on the map?
Man, I mean, I started, kind of daydreaming early on, thanks to that kind of encouragement from other folks. But at a certain point, it kept escalating, and it's like, okay, well, let me start writing some stuff down. Let me crunch some numbers over here, and think about what this really would look like. And definitely had to have that kind of reality check with my wife of like, so what if we did this? And we were here for her, but by the time we had moved to Portland, it was for her to continue grad school. She was getting a PhD. She was on track to being a professor, and like we just assumed Portland will be fun, but when she graduates, she's going to move to, we're going to go somewhere that has a job for her, which is probably another state, which is where there's a good school that she can work at, and so even at that time, I think she just saw how serious and excited I was about it. And I made a really sort of convincing presentation. Like, listen, it's not going to, only going to cost a little bit, and I'll do everything, and everything that I was totally wrong about, of course. But at that time it was like, yeah. And when you graduate, wherever you get a job, like we'll go, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this is what I have to do right now. And, let's just see where this goes. Let's see what happens, basically.
10 years later, there's 2 locations.
My goodness. Yeah. Yeah. And it's, at the same time, she, independent of all of this, sort of found herself a little burnt out on academia by the time she was graduating. So that was a little bit convenient. I mean, we both also just really love it here. So by that point, which I think she graduated maybe 2 or 3 years after we opened.
Okay.
We were like, all right, I think we're going to just hang and do this thing. And she started a research consulting business for herself. And so, kind of, settled into our life here.
Yeah. Getting to be a part of like a couple openings, do you feel like that really like instilled some confidence in you as far as like what to expect? I mean, like, I know that there's a bunch of shit that happens when you're doing an opening like that you cannot predict, but getting to kind of see those things unfold, did that make you feel a little more comfortable or capable in any way?
Yes, as far as I knew at the time.
Yeah.
But like until it really is all on you, you do not know. You have no idea like how real it gets when you're opening a restaurant. Like, and it like, it's first of all, just a ton of work, and it never ends. Like you're always working. You're always thinking about it. So even if you're not there anymore, you've cleaned up, turned the lights out, gone home, like your mind is racing on all the other things. I just remember, I feel like in the first at least 2 years, this constant feeling of there are not enough hours in the day or days in the week for me to do all the things that I just need to do. And everything is urgent. Everything's important. And it was a panic for sure. Yeah. It was totally overwhelming. Yeah. And I mean, it definitely pulled Amy just really deep into it also, even while she was trying to go through school. And I mean, talk about a trial to go through in your marriage when you're opening a restaurant. Yeah. Oh my God.
A little test of the patience.
Yeah. Just in so many ways. And we put all of our savings into it that we were trying to save up for buying a house.
Yeah.
So that just like set us back in that way. And houses weren't getting any cheaper. So that was kind of stressful. But yeah, it was like we put everything we had into it. And so on one hand, you know, there was no other option but to make it work. And on the other hand, it was like this had to work. So we were just all in no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your vision, Scott, like for this pizza place? Like, did you have some kind of like foundational core values, or like what was important for you to represent, I guess, once you like were putting your pizza onto a plate for somebody?
I think a few things. I think at that time, there weren't a lot of independent, like kind of serious, you know, artisan, if you will, pizzerias open in Portland. And, you know, the like 2 or 3 that were known for being really good pizza, it was just like you couldn't get in there.
Talking about like Ken's,
Lovely's,
okay.
Pizza Shoals, like it was impossible. You had to plan your whole day around it. You had to go early on a Tuesday, you know. And
some of those places feel a little more like fine dining experience in some way.
Yeah. Yeah. So then it's a little more built up, and, you know, to the point where it was like I would rather make pizza at home than go out for pizza because it was just easier.
Yeah.
And more fun in a lot of ways. But, yeah. And like at a certain point, then it was like, it felt like it was better than the other options of like not going to the top pizzerias.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a big part of it. I think just feeling like there was a lot of room for there to be more pizzeria. I felt like, especially coming from New York, where there's a lot of pizza security, I would say, in that city, right? Like, you can get a slice anywhere.
Yes.
And having that anxiety in New Mexico when I was growing up, and then especially when I, wasn't getting back to New York as often. So I think that stuck with me. And I've always been the kind of person that, like, when I travel, I'm like, so where you get a decent slice around here?
Yeah.
I'm like kind of sizing up the spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt like it was important for there to be more pizza around. I felt like it was important for it to be, just accessible in terms of like just easy, and casual. And I mean, at the time, this is well before we've had all kinds of inflation and crazy stuff going on. But like when we first opened, it was $2 for a cheese slice.
Yeah.
And that was definitely naive of me. Like, we were not turning a profit for many years, and that's probably why. But, that was a goal, right? Was to also make it affordable. And while doing it, just keep it really simple so that you could focus on making a really good pizza.
Yeah.
And I think all of that, the sort of why behind making a good pizza, making it easy to get, was just facilitating that kind of like joy and nostalgia that a good slice brings you. Like, it's comfort food.
Yeah. For sure.
So I think at the bottom of all of it sort of lies that urge to just share that really comforting, delicious experience of like just a good slice.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing like it.
When you bite into it, it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what it's been about. In terms of like making that move and like pushing so hard for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like your ideals had to shift quite a bit once you actually got up and running?
I mean, there's a lot. I think I had already started to change my mindset even just as I was doing research around like how a business works, and understanding like restaurant cost structures and how like yeah, like, I mean, I still was insistent on pricing things really low early on, but out of that slice, like it's there's a very, how do I say that? There's just so many costs and expenses that you just really don't consider the majority of the time when you're either eating out at a restaurant or even as someone running a restaurant. Like, I'm not often thinking about how much we pay for our like dishwasher chemicals, but
Yes.
that's like $200 a month per shop often. And
Or
like
the plastic ramekins that the ranch goes in.
The ranch ramekins, the towels, pizza boxes.
Yes.
Everything going in a box, like that adds cost to everything. So, there was a lot learned there, but I think in a bigger picture sense also, like figuring out, learning pretty quickly that like I couldn't make every single pizza. And so I had to like train other people to make pizza.
Yes.
The way that I make pizza, which I already enjoyed that sort of teaching and training element. I had done a lot of that at Apple. I would like lead workshops and like one-on-one lessons and stuff. And I felt like I had some training in how to do that well, that I felt pretty confident in. So that became, I think, a big part of it, and it still really is. And that's where it boils down to that like consistency side of things, right? It's like the real challenge is like making that really good pie just as good as possible every single time. Right. Yeah. And sometimes that involves like, I mean, I think when you're running any kind of business, there's just your ideal like dream of what you want to do. And then there's all the compromises you have to make to like make it function. And that's the sort of dance and balance of like, caring really deeply about like the ingredients that we buy and, making sure that everyone's getting paid well, and like talk about having it, making pizza a real job, like making sure folks have health benefits and retirement benefits, and, trying to make our jobs real jobs like that in a sense.
For sure. I think that helps, people take it more seriously too.
Totally.
When they feel like they're actually being taken care of and they're not just like help in the kitchen or.
Right. Yeah. We have a really strong team vibe, I feel like. And it's fun and it feels good too.
Yeah.
To have like a strong, solid team of people who are like all here because they dig what we're doing and they want to learn how to do it well and keep doing it well and provide that for their community.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you feel like there's some sort of like trick or approach you have to teaching consistency? It seems like, it's such a difficult thing to make happen. And it's impressive to me because I think like, I don't know, man. I don't think I've had quite a bit of your pizza, and I don't think like I've been there and I was like, oh man, wasn't a great day for Scottie's. It just like kind of always hits in the same way.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Obviously, I feel like as skilled as everyone is on our team, there's still like things that can just happen, like environmental factors that can like mess up our dough, or, equipment breaking down that can affect that final like slice outcome. And obviously like, folks are always learning, and it's kind of fun to be guiding everybody on that journey that I feel like I have been on and like still am on in a lot of ways, but like, all right, like, we're going to start with just the sort of like surface level, pick up the dough here's how we want to shape it. We want to make sure we have a nice, crust on the edge, but a nicely even stretched middle. And all the things. I'll usually like hold up a slice and look at the cross section and like kind of map that out and say, all right, here's what we're going to do to achieve that. And break it down in steps. And then, we have a lot of, like very specific, like portioning, and stuff like that. And to get that consistency, it really isn't the fault of like the people who are learning, because they're learning.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to think about, right? It's like, I don't know why I think about this, but like with golfing, there's all the like, okay, feet shoulder width apart, bend your knees, like, wrist straight or whatever. I don't know.
There's a lot to think about
all
to
those
do
things.
The thing right. And it's just so overwhelming.
And how do you think about all of that at the exact same time? It's kind of impossible until like you just do it so much that it becomes instinct, right? And so I think just being there to support, and that's like me and our awesome team of managers, like we're all really dedicated to kind of being that support system in a supportive way, right? Of like, hey, let me kind of help you remember and just be developing these skills always. So there's a lot of talk all throughout the day in our kitchen of like, how's the dough today? Like how, oh, look at that bake. Does that look good? Like what's perfect about this? What's not perfect about this? There's never a dull moment. That's for sure.
Yeah. Is it just as exciting for you to like see someone else make the pizza in the way that it like comes out the way that you want it, like as if you made the perfect pizza?
That's really cool. Yeah. And it's funny. The other day we had a longtime regular who like lives in the neighborhood of our Southeast shop, and he's like, got that East Coast vibe. He knows what's up. He knows his pizza, and he's been coming in forever, and he like chooses to come to our place. Right. And he's like, this is it. And like you were saying, like you take that bite and you maybe think it's like not hitting or whatever. I haven't heard that from him, or sometimes I will from a friend, or it seemed like maybe not the best dough day or whatever, but he came in the other day and I was there working in the kitchen, and I was working on a very specific order that was a bunch of like small pizzas, and I like went and said hi to him, how was it? And he was like, man, I gotta say, like the slice I had, I bit into it and I could tell that you made it. And I was like, I didn't make it.
Oh yeah, that's so sick.
Like, no, like that pepperoni pie right there. And I was like, no, man, I haven't made a single slice pie today.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, it's like that feels good. And also like I get that satisfaction all the time. I mean, if I'm in the shop, I'm going to eat a slice,
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just when I show up to the shop. Sometimes that's, when I've been there for hours and I'm just having a slice to round out the day or whatever. But, it's so satisfying to like bite into that pizza that like all of this, intention and planning and engineering, and then training, has gone into, and then to have it executed so well and just, and this like, explosion happens of all the like warm fuzzy feelings and the nostalgia, and then like, oh, this is it.
Yes. So nothing to be desired after,
Yeah, it's great.
I feel like I'm going to Scotty's after I have like a shitty slice to be like, I need to go fix this.
It's like second dinner. You got to get second pizza. Oh man. Yeah.
That's awesome. Was it difficult at all now that you have the second location in Northwest? Was it pretty easy to translate the consistency over there because you had a pretty strong structure in place, or does just being in a different room and environment have a lot of challenges to that?
Yeah, in some ways it was easy. We did have things set up, and I remember like, after we got the oven in there, like making a pizza for the first time in the new oven in the new spot, and it came out like gorgeous. And I was just like, whoa, that was a big moment for me. Like, it felt like a big win. Like, we can do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know why. Maybe I just had all this like superstition about it or something. So in that sense, actually, yeah, like we had a lot of systems in place and things just kind of did translate over. And in some interesting ways, like since getting that space going, we've learned other things over there that we've then brought back to the original spot. So it's kind of funny how that works out. But then I think some of the challenges also are just with the like perception. And I think folks who just want to jump to that, like, oh, but is this going to be as good as the original? You know? And
yes, it is. I can say it is as good
yeah,
as the original.
yeah. But you know, people like to
Yes.
maybe be like, oh no, I had a slice over. I don't go to that one.
Yes,
or whatever,
yes.
right? But like, I work at both. Like, you know, all of our managers work at both.
Yeah.
A lot of our team works at both. It's like we're very unified.
It's not like
So-
two separate entities in
No,
any
for sure.
sort of way.
Yeah. This isn't like Ray's
Yeah.
Pizza or whatever.
Has it been
Yeah.
really nice for you to have a location now that has like a dine-in experience?
Oh my God. Yeah. That was a huge benefit and really exciting part of the opportunity to open that second shop in Northwest was like, this has so much more space for us to just do the real thing, which is like have a spot where people can like come hang out, have that slice, bring friends, bring the family, have a party.
Yeah.
And that has been really, really awesome. We used to have, I don't know how long you've been coming to the division shop, but like when we first opened, we had more tables in there. We had like 2 4-tops, two
I remember
tops,
that.
and a counter or
Yeah.
something. So just as we grew, and I think this is like my own fault in a lot of ways for like prioritizing, just trying to sort of like meet demand of like, gosh, there's like a 2.5 hour wait for a pizza on a Friday. Like, we got to figure out how to make more pizzas faster and stuff. I think that was like naive business sense, because it wasn't like succeeding as a business didn't actually require that. Yeah, that was interesting to learn. But anyway, because of that, like 3 years into being open, we fully like, you know, got rid of a bunch of tables and chairs, built a whole new wall, pushed our counter out, and
Yeah.
like remodeled the spot. And it still feels like we need all that space today, you know. I mean, it was so tight in there.
Yeah.
And in fact, we started renting out another space like in the back of the building where we have just more storage and like even just a break room to like
For sure.
go and sit and work on the computer or whatever. But yeah, so it's so tight in there. And so to finally be in a spot where it's like you walk in, you see the like slice case, you see the pies on display, you know, we can take your order, throw them right in the oven, and just kind of like play pizza shop in the way that I think I always wanted to.
Yeah.
Just, it feels really good.
You don't
for
have
sure.
to like guess whether or not that 1 or 2 tables are going to be open for
Yeah.
you to like sit down if you
Absolutely.
aren't trying to take it to
Yeah.
go.
I remember we got a bunch of bad reviews when we did that remodel. Like, there's nowhere to sit, 1 star. It's
Dude,
like, oh my
I
God.
fucking hate people and their reviews. I
Yeah.
hate anything that has nothing to do with the food.
Oh, man.
I went there on Sunday and they were closed. It's like, yeah, they're
I've gotten
closed
that.
on Sundays.
Definitely gotten that.
They are
multiple
closed
times.
that day.
Yeah.
It says it on the sign.
Yep.
Oh, they're the
Closed
worst,
at 9
dude.
o'clock on a Saturday. Get out of here. 1 star. Yeah.
The worst.
No excuse for that. Yeah.
I love at the Northwest location, you have all the different pizza boxes
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
on the wall, and I think it's very cool that it's not, you know, it's not like just Scottie stuff, you know, it's like
Yeah.
this celebration of
Totally.
like pizza culture, and it kind of got me thinking about like how unique the pizza box itself is as far as displaying art and branding.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like I feel like it's almost unlike any other like food packaging. You know, like maybe you grab like a cheeseburger and you got like the logo
maybe
on
there's
the
something to the burger bag. Yeah.
But like the pizza box is such like this vehicle for artwork.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's really cool, really special. And I feel like it goes back so far and stretches, you know, worldwide. It's this kind of like custom. And I think it's like an extension of that sort of like pride that a pizzeria takes in what they do, you know, to like really represent like, this is our pizza, you know, like, yeah, you're getting pizza to go, but like, this is where you got it from. Yeah. Right. And it's funny, you know, you see the boxes like sticking out of somebody's trash in front of their house and you're like, oh, but I think that's really cool. And it is so hard to get custom printed pizza boxes at the same time. It's been just like an epic journey over the years of like, you know, sometimes we've had them and then we couldn't get them anymore. And then we got them again and then we couldn't. And we finally, I feel like, nailed down a good supply situation. But yeah, pizza boxes are really cool. You calling attention to that makes me think of my friend who's also named Scott. He is from New York and he runs a like kind of like the original pizza tour company in New York City. It's just called Scott's Pizza Tours. Okay. He takes people around in a school bus to like just all over the city. They'll go to a bunch of pizzerias. He'll, you know, introduce you the pizzeria owner or the pizza maker and tell the story and go through a tasting, and it's really, really fun. And talk about like pizza energy through the roof. Like he's just like all things pizza. And so he holds the Guinness World Record for largest pizza box collection. I think he's got like, you know, probably thousands at this point. I remember, you know, many years ago, it was like, he's got over 1,000 pizza boxes. Every day people are sending him pizza boxes. That's people, so cool. You know, on the tours will bring him a new one from like somewhere else in the world, you know, so cool. And all the designs. And so I feel like has really shared and inspired a lot of that appreciation for the pizza box art. He has I think he came out with a book called, I think it's called Viva la Pizza. And it's like a whole thing about, it's just pizza boxes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So cool.
I'm gonna have to get one of those.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got some in Northwest and Southeast is where there's a lot. I have maybe like, I guess I never counted them. I might have over 50.
Will you just like collect them from spots?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, cause they're so cool, right? They're all so unique. And like, you know, a lot of them, I have like autographs on.
That's so cool.
It's like, you know, get the pizza maker to sign your box.
Yeah.
You know, not just the owner, but like, yo, like you made this pie. Like, let me get your autograph. Yeah. I feel like that has been just really fun for me over the years to, I think just, again, like show that like respect and admiration for the folks who are like so passionate about this thing. Cause it really is special.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you have a prime pizza one in there.
Yeah.
I love that spot. That's like one of my favorite LA spots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also just like that people are like really, you brought me a hat today. Like I really love that people are leaning into the merch aspect. Like I feel like pizza specifically is like going heavy in that direction where it's just like, if the pizza's super good, the merch also has to be super dope. And like I saw like Prime Pizza today, like did a collaboration with Earl Sweatshirt.
Oh my God.
They have like an Earl Sweatshirt, Prime Pizza sweatshirt now at one of the locations.
At
like,
only one spot, of course.
So cool. So exclusive. Yeah. Or I don't know, you're rocking like this boxcar pizza
for sure.
shirt today. It's like
it's great. It's super fun. I love it. Yeah, there's a big like art aspect to it. And it's all just kind of like vibes and style. So yeah, I feel like pizza being so subjective, there's this sort of like identity factor with it, right? It's like, what's your spot? You know,
Yeah,
like where
yeah.
you go? You know, and that's why you're wearing the shirt or whatever, right? But yeah, it's fun. I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm never gonna like hardcore trash talk pizza, because I feel like everyone's out there, like, other than like big chains and stuff, who obviously aren't really prioritizing like making a special, you know, thing, but like everybody is out there like at these indie shops, like just really putting work in to like make something good.
For sure.
And there's so many different styles and perspectives, and it's all just like, oh, this person grew up in Ohio, or this person grew up in Philadelphia, and like that just defined their whole approach to pizza making. And that's why the crust is like a little bit thicker, or that's why it's like braided on the edge, or, you know, extra thin. That's why it's a round pizza cut into squares, you know. It's just fun. It's all just like different and fun. I don't know. Yeah.
What do you feel like inspired the styles that you're putting out, as far as like the New York style and the Neapolitan style?
Yeah, because, you know, being from New York, like I was just a New York style like pizza person through and through. I wanted a slice, and a slice is just cheese pizza. Like you go to a pizzeria and you say, let me get a slice, and it's just a slice of cheese pizza.
Yeah.
And that's all pizza is to me, you know, or, you know, has been for a very long time. But so that was kind of like what I set out to make. And then as soon as I started learning more about it, I started to just get more interested, I think, in certain aspects of pizza making. And I think I was mostly drawn to the more like old world, like traditional, like Italian aspects of it. And like sourdough is always really intriguing to me. And I think just like pride and passion and respect that goes into like pizza making got me to zero in a bit on the Neapolitan style. But I think also is really just about like the pizza itself. Like when you bake the pizza in a super hot wood-fired oven, you can get a faster oven spring. Like all that, you know, the CO2 from the yeast is just going to rapidly expand in the dough. And if the dough is properly developed with gluten, it's going to make bigger bubbles that are going to hold that gas in before they solidify and cook. And if the bubbles get bigger, then they thin out. And so they're lightly crispy, and it's not dense and it's not chewy. It's like airy,
Yes,
and a little crispy, and not heavy or chewy. And I think that's, and then also just that aesthetic that happens with Neapolitan pizza with the like little black bubbles, the leopard spotting. I've always loved that. And I think that's also like a textural thing, you know, just that little crackly, you know, bit, and then that little bit of bitterness that you get from the charred bubbles. Just all that stuff, I just eat it up. And so it was actually Hanson Pizza that like blew my mind, because they had a wood-fired oven, and so this was my first like sort of serious pizza job that I set out to get. They had a wood-fired oven, and they were making like 12-inch kind of Neapolitan style pizzas, but they also made 18-inch pizzas, and they served slices out of this wood-fired oven. And I was like, oh my God, I never imagined that you could sort of like bridge those worlds. And I think that's when the gears really started turning, and like I got really, really more, I think, like just my vision was a lot more clear around like what I wanted out of pizza. So yeah, it's fun.
Do you think that is there like a line of that, the richness of like a sourdough flavor? Like I feel like yours, I don't know, even
like,
in
can
the
it get
description,
too sour?
yeah, like
For sure.
even in your description, like it says a hint of sourdough.
Yeah.
You know, like how do you like? I don't know. Where do you feel like the line is on that? Do you feel like it is all like personal preference? Because I think that like typically I will like enjoy a sourdough, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that I have had like somewhere I'm like, this is just like an overwhelming
Too
amount
much.
of like
Yeah.
sourdough flavor where it's hard for the other ingredients to shine through this.
Yeah,
almost.
for sure. I mean, you think the first thing I think of, especially when you ask like what's too sour, is like I don't think that I want to taste that like San Franciscan like, sourdough bread bowl vibe
Yes.
in a pizza crust.
Nor do I.
As delicious as it is, filled with clam chowder
Yeah.
or whatever, like I think I want my pizza to taste like pizza. And I think that pizza also, like, it, in so many ways, if not all, it is bread, right? But it also is its own thing. And so, yeah, there's a balance there for sure. We use sourdough, but we keep the sourdough fairly young. And what I mean by that is like, it's the same culture that I like cultivated at home, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, right? That we've just been adding more flour and water to and just fermenting constantly all these years. And that's cool, but I don't think that like age of sourdough means so much as just how it's actually fed and managed. And so we, yes, our starter is like robust and like resilient. It's strong, like it's reliable in that sense. But what I mean by we keep it young is that we don't let it ferment to the point where it becomes overly acidic and extra sour tasting. We're almost like, it's almost like we're using it more for like performance. Like we want it to be active and to leaven the pizza. And in that process, it also happens to bring this lovely, flavor that's like got more complexity. And we use a bit of whole wheat in our sourdough starter, and that's also about flavor. And part of the reason why we don't let it go so far and turn so acidic before we use it in our dough is that the acid, if we mix an acidic starter into our pizza dough, it breaks down the gluten bonds that you're trying to develop so that your dough will stretch. And so like I've learned on the other end, if your sourdough starter is over fermented when you mix your dough, when you then go to stretch your dough out, it'll just tear.
Okay.
It'll just rip, you don't have any of that like elasticity anymore that is brought by properly developed gluten in the dough. So a lot of that is just about like handling. But it also translates all the way through to then how it springs in the oven, right? Like if all those bonds are broken down, they're not holding together when it's time to like spring up and get puffy in the oven, right? So a really acidic sourdough crust is usually not as bubbly, or if it looks like it's bubbly, it might actually just be doughy. Like there might just be more dough in the edge of the pie, but it's not really like open and airy. So yeah, there's so many different ways to do that. And a lot of that just comes down to personal preference. A lot of folks who make sourdough pizza, will like do a much shorter fermentation of the dough, and like keep the starter young and also keep the dough young, and it gets almost like a more bubbly crust, which is really fun, right? You can get that kind of like light crispy thing happening. I just haven't quite, I feel like the real reason why I don't mess with that is because I have to let the dough ferment at least 2 days in order to get the little black bubbles.
Yes.
So I don't know. And there's all kinds of other stuff that's happening there. Right. But that's kind of like, the gist of it, but it's super fun to just be in that zone and kind of finding your way with like, what do you like? What do you want to do? You can kind of run this any way you want, especially in a business sense too, which is cool. But yeah, with pizza, it's like, it's just however you make it. That's what you get. So yeah.
Are you rocking with like your kind of initial dough recipes from when you started?
I don't think it's that far off in terms of recipe. I mean, we've explored all kinds of different flours and stuff like that. So yeah, we're blending more flour than maybe we did in the early days. But in terms of like hydration level, salt level, stuff like that, just like the ingredients and how much of each ingredient, I don't think it's changed that much. But what has changed is everything around it, like how regularly and at what timing and intervals and at what like ratios we're feeding our sourdough starter has like drastically changed our end result. And the temperature of our water, and then the temperature that we're fermenting our dough at, and how long we keep it in the fridge, and how long we then have it at room temperature, all of that I think is what we've really, really dialed into, and how we've been able to like shrink that margin of error, outside of really good. So yeah, because it's like from day one, I had a recipe and a process, and like I felt good about it, but I do remember it being a little all over the place and getting like one day it'd be like, damn, the pizza's really good today. I wish I knew why. And yeah, or sometimes, having a bad dough day, right? Where it's like, man, I don't know what's going on, but it's just like not good. And so, over these last like 10 years, there's been a ton of that dialing to really just like bring it tight, which feels good.
What is the art of making the Nona slices?
It's funny. There's not a whole lot to it. It's the same dough. It's and it's just stretched out and, put in a pan, proofed a little bit, to like, just let the dough relax a little bit, get a little bit of that activity, like developing more bubbles in the crust. I think a thing that also sets it apart is that we put the sauce on top.
Right. So
it kind of like reduces the sauce in a slightly different way. And like we season that pie differently. We use oregano, we use garlic and olive oil, and like pecorino romano instead of parm, which we use on a lot of our other pizzas. So all the flavors are just like really sharp and turned up on that pie.
So good.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot to it. And it's funny because like we have such a like kind of dedicated following for that pizza, and I think it's mellowed out now. Like I don't get this as much as I used to, but there have been many times where folks have like called the shop and asked like, do you have any Tofino pizzas? Like that's our square pie. And we can only make so many in a day. We only have so many pans, and it's just like a process of like revolving, proofing more dough. And so at some point we're going to run out. And it happened so many times where people would call and ask if we had them. And if we were sold out, they would say like, oh, okay. And just hang up. Like that was it. That's all they wanted, man. And I'm like,
tough crowd.
Yeah. And for all the work that I've put in like my entire life on like the round pie, the thin crust, the oven bake, like everything is just like, wow. All right. I mean, I get it. It's definitely like, it's got that crispy cheese candy on the edges. It is all the things you want for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm usually going like one of each.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing one of those and then one of the other slices.
It's great. Yeah. And we keep up with it now. So I feel like that's made a difference too.
Yeah.
People can get it when they want to.
I had the Frankie P slice today for the first time.
Yeah.
Will you tell me about the inspiration for that one?
Yeah. So so it's named for Frank Pinello, who, I sorry, Frank. I don't think he goes by Frankie at all. I just,
all right.
it had a nice ring to it. I go by Scott. So,
Yeah.
the place is called Scottie's for
you just
whatever
add
reason.
IE onto everything.
It just makes it sound more cute, right? Like that's all it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, this guy, Frank, he owns a pizza place in Williamsburg, Brooklyn called Best Pizza. And just like a big inspiration, he's like of a younger generation and kind of like wave of pizzeria owners who have like opened like modern era slice shops that are really like going for that nostalgia and tradition that you get from New York pizza and why it's like just so special in what it is, but really like just turning it up and making it nice, good ingredients, really putting a lot of attention to detail and like intention behind all the processes. And so I've just always like really looked up to him. He's a chef. He went to culinary school.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got skills. But so if you go to Best Pizza in Williamsburg, their white slice is a sesame crusted pie with caramelized onions and ricotta and that parsley finish. And I love it so much. And Frank, I've seen him around a bunch at like pizza conventions and other events and stuff, and got to make pizzas next to him once, which was really fun. But he did a demo one year at the Pizza Expo that happens on the East Coast, where he was demonstrating this pie, and he like fully laid out the recipe and was like, make this in your pizzeria. Like people, it's great. It's delicious. People love it. Like, you have my full blessing to serve this. And I don't know if it was like because of that or because he was doing that a bit. But there's quite a few pizzerias that have like a Frank Pinello, like,
that's very cool.
Best Pizza, like tribute slice,
homage slice to Frank.
So this is our version. For
That's
sure.
very
and,
rad.
it's like baked our way, which honestly, like Best Pizza, I think a big part of why that pizza resonates with me too is like they have a similar baking process to us. They bake their pie at a high temperature on a wood fire or in a wood fired oven, and then they take the pizza out of that and they put it into a lower temperature deck oven, like more traditional pizza oven. And what they're doing is what I figured out that I've, how I get my result is using that high heat temperature to get that fast oven spring, the big bubbles, lightly crispy on the outside, right? But if you only bake the pizza at a really high temperature, especially a big like 18-inch pie, it comes out too soft. It's like too floppy. So if you're going to serve it by the slice or, even just like serving a big pizza where someone's like grabbing a slice and trying, it's got toppings on it and stuff, putting it back into another oven at a lower temperature to like crisp up the bottom is what really kind of seals the deal and gives it that like structure. So, our styles are very alike in that sense. So I feel like, we're just kind of on a level.
That's very cool.
Great shop. Highly recommend it.
Are you always the one that is coming up with the pizzas as far as like toppings, or is there creative input elsewhere? Or
I think on our menu, like our regular pizzas, that's a lot of me. But I'm not the creative one. I'm not a flavors guy. I'm a cheese pizza guy.
Yeah.
Like if you actually look at our menu, there's like 6 different versions of cheese pizza on there. There's a vodka sauce. There's like the grandma pie. That's just a cheese pizza. There's a regular cheese pizza. There's a cheese pizza with basil on it. There's a cheese pizza with burrata on it.
Yes.
Also just more cheese.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very basic menu. And I'm here for toppings. Like, over the years, I think when we first opened, we only had pepperoni and like, I don't know, mushrooms and onions, maybe.
yeah.
And like arugula or something. And, you know, people were like, where's the sausage? And of course, like, where's the pineapple? And I had to like kind of search my soul. Like, is that okay? I don't know. Yeah, so like we've got the toppings, but, every now and then I'll get inspired and have something that it's like, all right, let's do this. It's, you know, it sounds fun and delicious. But honestly, like our crew has had a ton of the great ideas
Like
that
the
have
weekly
like showed
special
up in the case.
kind of
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I love, you know, having that sort of vehicle for creativity, and I think the whole team does too. It's like, what do you feel like making?
Yeah.
You know, and like we'll get stuff in. Like everybody can look at like the lists that come in from local farms of just like what's good and in season.
Yeah.
And you know, folks will just like order up some leeks and whatever and throw it together, you know?
And will
It's
that
really
be the
fun.
same special pizza at both locations?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just the flavor of the day,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, it's just it's the vibe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to go to both in one day
For
if you're
sure.
really trying
Yeah.
to get everything we have to offer. Yeah.
But ordering from like local farms and like really locally sourcing ingredients, do you think that's been like huge for
Yeah.
providing
I think
a
it's
pizza
important.
that is just top notch?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, if you're using produce, like it's going to be the best if it's grown close to you and harvested,
Yeah.
you know, fresh, right? You know, things like tomatoes that are like packed and canned, obviously, we can get anywhere. And at the same time, it's like, you know, you can get like San Marzano tomatoes from Italy. And if you get like the real ones, I think they're supposedly like grown on the slopes of like Mount Vesuvius in like a very specific like area. And you can get that, but also like there's great tomatoes grown in California that are so delicious and work great on pizza. And same with grain, like, you know, there's like, I think for pizzerias especially, there's a little bit of a dilemma of like, do I get the Italian flour that is like made so much like for pizza, or do I get the stuff that's local? And like the answer is like a little bit of both for us at least. But you know, at the end of the day, I think my perspective on it is like what makes the best pizza. So it's like, what's the best pizza to me, right? Like, again, super subjective, but it's like, what gets the result that I'm going for? What helps me get that like level of crispiness and like
Yeah.
tender and, you know, but yeah, as far as all the produce, you know, it's a bummer that we can't get local basil all year, but when we can, which is usually like late spring into like fall time, oh my God, it's so good. It's the best basil, and it just like really pops on our pizza, and everyone, like, you know, me and the whole crew, like we're all just so pumped when the like farm basil comes in. So yeah, we love to take that opportunity where we can.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You ever, I know you talked about when you went to Will's spot, you kind of just showed up and you're like, I love pizza. Like, do you ever get anybody trying to like get a job in that similar fashion? Like,
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna shout out. I'm gonna shout out to Dante, who is on our team right now. He has just been coming into the shop forever, and it's just like, I'm a pizza dude. Like,
Yeah.
and this is what's up, and like, I want to be here.
yeah.
And like, I think, you know, he just came in and introduced himself that way, and our general manager's name's Hope. We're like this dope dream team working together. So I think I remember we sat down with Dante early on and just kind of like got to know him a little bit, and we're like, okay, like, have you worked in any like restaurants or pizzerias? And he was like, nope, but really like pizza. And
So cool.
was like, okay. And you know, I mean, just, we kind of turned him away, and we're like, we just need folks with like more experience at this
Yeah.
point. And Dante worked hard and went and got some other experience, ended up working at Ken's for a while, And when the time was right, he came back to us and we were like, all right.
Dude, that's so rad.
That's it. Yeah. And I think we ended up, he only, he still wanted to stay with Ken's because he was still learning a lot over there. And so we were like, okay, well, can we do like 1 or 2 days a week? And he's just been awesome and just like really excelling with us. And now he's with us full time and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it when we also like win someone over from another pizzeria.
For
like,
sure.
like
Yeah.
it's not in a super competitive way. I think it just says something. It's like reinforcing, right? That like we have a cool spot
Yeah.
to be and are doing a good
It's
job
like
taking care of people.
Banging pizza, but also like a cool work environment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a top goal for us. Like we do put a big effort, I think, into like setting the right tone and like, just valuing that everyone can like get along and share the space well and like feel safe. And like, we've had a really great team. So,
I would imagine too, like you having that experience of being in some really intense cooking environments that like you definitely do not want it to resemble that at all.
I mean, I've been yelled at. I've had stuff thrown at me like on the line. Like someone threw a stale loaf of bread and like hit me in the head once during brunch service. And I was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like not what I signed up for, and it was like it was just like a joke, like whatever.
Yeah.
No one was even mad at me. They were just like, hey, this might be funny. So yeah, not here for that. And I think, like working with a team of folks who a lot of them have also been through those kinds of environments and are just like really looking for a spot where they can just be respected and treated with kindness. Like it's a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. And that just feels great also. So
Do you feel like you can tell pretty quickly with new people you bring onto the team, whether they're a pizza person or not, like if they're like solid or not?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's like interviewing and hiring. There's a lot of skill to that. We've definitely learned over the years, like there's a lot to that, to like reading folks and getting that first impression, the kind of impression that you're looking for. Sometimes it'll sneak by you. You know?
For sure. There's some people that are just like really good at interviewing, and then you're like, wow, what happened to that person?
Yeah. I mean, that was also me at like the fancy restaurant job. I was like, oh yeah, I hold down the brunch line solo, like I got you, like whatever you want, chef, like I'm here for it. And, the response was like, okay, great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll take you. And then it was like, all right, I need you to like get this stock going and, trim all of this whatever produce and do all this like super fast. And I was just like, oh, no, I don't have that for you. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, that sometimes it's skill, but it's definitely a bummer if it's just like not the vibe, you know? But usually you can tell pretty early. So yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah.
Well, 10 plus years in, you're not only surviving, but it seems like you're thriving. You've like expanded your business into another location. I'm just like curious, just to kind of wrap up, like what do you attribute to the sustainability of the thing?
Oh my goodness. I think some of the big kind of lessons learned are about like not overextending. And like learning to pace ourselves. We've really prioritized like our actual just internal organization and management, like how we get things done and how we train and how we, plan. It sounds kind of boring and mundane, but like in a way it's just been like the next level, like problem solving for us. And it actually feels really great to be at a spot where things are manageable. And I'm not constantly working, or like on mentally. So yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing first is like not trying to do more than is actual actually possible. And that's something I think I've struggled with all my life, just as someone with like ADHD and like time management issues. And
I'm really in that, like, I don't know.
It's
I've
real.
been trying to focus on that a lot these, like, specifically these last couple weeks of just like,
for sure.
how do I dial it back actually? You know, like, how do I not say yes to everything and just like focus on doing just like a few things really well instead of just feeling like I'm stretched everywhere just because I thought this project was another cool thing to say yes to.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's like the personal, you know, urge to just like want to do all the fun things. And then there's also that like people pleasing thing, you know, of just like wanting to be there and like show up for whatever, you know, folks want you to show up for. And so, part of that is like setting boundaries for sure. And some of those boundaries are with yourself, you know? So it's been a long journey to get here, but I feel really fortunate, to be where we're at. So,
well, it's just like really cool to, I don't know, man. It's like pretty clear and undeniable how stoked you still seem to be on what you're doing and
Thanks,
making pizza and like your spot is like obviously really well revered like around the city. And it's definitely, I'm such a big fan. And like it's like if someone's coming from out of town, you know, like, and they want pizza, like, no doubt. Like I took a buddy to Scottie's like a few weeks ago. He was in town and he was just like had his mind blown. He was just like, dude, this is incredible.
That's so awesome.
And it's just kind of like definitely up there, if not number one. It's, you know, high upon the list of like places that I feel like people have to experience.
I love that. It's really just reinforcing, like, obviously it's a ton of work that we've put into it, and also like just not knowing from the get-go like if my style was going to be something that other people enjoyed, you know, but to see it working and like making people happy and doing that like comfort food thing, and that's awesome. I always love to hear that.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for, just being down to do this and talk about it, like giving me some of your time, you know. It's very rad of you.
Yeah. I'm glad it worked out. It was fun.
Hell yeah. Scott, we end every episode of the podcast with the guest saying the tagline for the show, which is, it's a program, and it means absolutely nothing. It's just the way that my grandfather says the word program.
I love that.
So,
wait, I need to know more though. Was it like TV programs?
Yeah.
Radio programs?
Dude, it's everything. Like when he talks about the news, he's like, record the news program. Or like if he would maybe like talk to you about your education, he'll be like, oh, what's your school program right now? Or... But it's funny to me when I'll be like, Grandpa, say program, and he'll say program. Like he doesn't realize it.
No, not
and
at
it's
all.
not like necessarily some regional thing either. Like it's maybe an age thing.
Yeah, it's a certain proper English.
Yeah, it's just so funny to me because I don't know. He's just such a this well-educated guy, and every time I say program, he just. Program.
That is adorable.
But it's just it's a goofy way that we end the show. It's the one time I'll ask you to look into this camera here right on the desk. And if we could get the Scottie's Pizza, it's a program. You can deliver it however you would like.
Okay. Is it like, wait, I say Scotty's Pizza or Dan Cable Presents?
You don't have to say either of those things. You can just say it's a program. You can do it however you want.
Dan Cable Presents, Scotty's Pizza Parlor. It's a program.
He nailed it, everybody. That's Scott. All the links will be in the episode notes so you can keep up with Scotty's Pizza. There's one in Northwest over off 21st, right across from Cinema 21, and Division and 20th in Southeast Portland. Links will be in the episode notes. Go get yourself some of the best goddamn pizza in the city. That's the Jelly Jams, and we will catch you on the flip side, Portland or wherever you are listening from. Cool, awesome. Man.
Thank you. Hell yeah. Wow. That was easy. That was chill.